Hey there, Vlad here. Before we jump into the episode itself, I just quickly want to mention that this episode is kind of best of guitar talk or something like that, however you want to call it. Basically, we collected a bunch of guitar-related articles and news and stuff like that we discussed over this year into one episode where we just really dive into some of our favorite guitars of the year that were released. And as always, all the links and ways to support what we do in the show notes as well. Have fun, have a great holiday season 2021, and we will be back in 2022. Cheers. CatPick Fridays. As we teased, Mooer launches GTRS intelligent guitars via Indiegogo with a super knob. There's an exclamation point on gearnews.com. A super knob. And basically, based on what I'm seeing / reading / hearing, it's a guitar with a bunch of like built-in Mooer effects, amp simulations, and stuff like that, I think.
That's what it sounds like to me. I'm extremely interested to test the super knob, and the specifications of the guitar look interesting, and it looks like it can do a lot of cool stuff. But I've noticed that most people don't seem to think this is going to be a good thing, and most people seem to think that the technology behind it is not going to be very applicable in 5, 10, 20 years' time.
Yeah, that's I guess I think that's my issue with this thing, because I saw this comment on 60 Cycle Hum Facebook group on this guitar, and somebody just mentioned, oh cool, Mooer just put an expiry date on the guitar, which kind of it's kind of true, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because especially with the company's strategy they're putting out so much new stuff every single year that I don't know if this guitar will be in any way relevant in 2 years, let alone 10 years.
Yeah, it's funny, like their R&D team pumps out so much, from pedals to amps to other niche sort of things like modelers, and now we have this GTRS guitars division. I don't know if it's actually Mooer the company or if it's like an offshoot or a sister, and it's been funded by crowdfunding, right? By Indiegogo. So you have to do one of those kind of online things where you sort of pay in advance to kind of get something, and if enough people buy it, they will produce the guitars. That's how I understand it.
I think this kind of...
Is that something you would do?
No. Like, first of all, I think I saw that it would be like $300, but looking at the specs, it seems to have like, the guitar itself looks great, I think, like very this type of super strat or like an HSS strat looks great. And
yeah, that's what I thought. It reminds me of the Schecter Nick Johnston.
Ah, that's true.
Model, like the HSS model that he has, and I think it has a rosewood fingerboard. That was the stat that stuck out for me. At $300 these days, you don't see a lot of rosewood fingerboards.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm trying to figure out whether it is actually $300, because I think I saw somewhere that it actually might have like a roasted maple neck. Is that actually true?
Yeah, I saw that. From memory, an American basswood body and a Canadian roasted maple neck, coupled with a rosewood board. And I don't think any guitars even sell that spec for $300 without the intelligence. You know, I don't think you can get a real, like a Squire or an Epiphone or any other brand with those specifications for that much money today. So either the specs are wrong or that price $300 is not right. I mean, how could it be? How could they make any money whatsoever off that?
Yeah, I mean, Harley Benton does have some roasted maple or caramelized. I don't know how they're calling them, but I think they have something
caramelized.
I've heard like that's an actual
caramelized with a maple syrup fingerboard.
That's actually a term I've heard.
Yeah, okay.
I think because there's I think like at least
with
in some
with a
countries,
chocolate fudge finish. That's a tasty guitar. Sorry. Yep. Okay. I've eaten today, and I need to.
no, it's all good. I think I think roasted maple is like a trademark thing at some places, at least. I don't think it's
okay.
a trademark thing in like EU, but some because I've seen caramelized or like baked maple neck, and like
Yeah,
different types.
baked I've seen for sure. Don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen caramelized, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if someone has a trademark on the name for using that. I don't know who it would be, but yeah. Anyway, I mean, I feel like if they are going to do this intelligent guitar, they should probably also sell a non-intelligent version, which is just that guitar. Because if they could make that guitar with those specifications without all the intelligent stuff, presumably that would sell for less than 300 if 300 is going to be the price. And that would be amazing value for money if they're any good, which I assume they are, as in the press releases they say that they've been sent out to people and tested to make sure that they got the best possible playing guitar. So it's a very interesting project, isn't it?
Yeah. One question I have is like, who is this for? Like, what are the like besides being a fun practice guitar? I'm not sure what other use cases you might have for this, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the video that they released? The promo video?
The girl playing this guitar on a subway?
Yeah, exactly. There's basically a girl who I think at the start of the video is using like a traditional guitar rig with proper guitar pedals and an amp and wires and all that kind of stuff, and they say that's the end of all that traditional nonsense. You've got a guitar with a super knob that has everything built in. And so she then is in a variety of scenarios, like in the park busking, I think, and then on a subway train, just with headphones, just playing a guitar as you do. Never ever, but she's doing that, and then she walks into a gig and plays it as well. And it seems like from that video, and as someone, as a marketer who's marketed product in a similar way before, it feels like that they're advertising it for people who want one guitar that can replace their whole entire rig and do everything. And they're looking exclusively at people who are going to be into the whole digital thing. It's not going to be a professionally marketed thing, and especially for the price. But on the other hand, I feel like they are trying to go a bit upmarket with it because of the rebrand. If there was a guitar that said Mooer on the headstock, you would automatically think, okay, this is, a cheap, affordable thing. And, Mooer effects are very good, but they're in a certain price, quality threshold bracket, Yep. But this guitar is just going to have GTRS, and I think it's a bit of a rebrand for them.
Yep. I guess that's why they also like launching it on Indiegogo. Maybe they want to have like a secondary company doing that, something like that. Going back to the video, by the way, she's like she's playing in a park, but she doesn't have an amp or anything. So is she like playing through just acoustically? Because you can do that with any electric guitar.
I don't know what she's doing. I don't know. I mean, is there going to be like a Bluetooth thing in there? And she's connected via the guitar to headphones. But if she's doing that, I assume that there would be so much lag that it would be unplayable. I don't know. I don't know what the idea is there. It's an interesting thought, though. Maybe that guitar comes with a wireless connection and you can somehow do that. Or maybe it was just a thing that they thought looked cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a thing where they saw the Boss Wazza headphones and thought, yeah, we can get in on that market by showcasing this. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. To me, this is something that I thought about with the Acoustasonic as well, is that I'm not comfortable with the fact that I need to charge a guitar. Because I've had situations where my battery dies during the song or during the show, and what are you doing when that happens? Because on a traditional guitar, you can take out the battery, put in a new one, and you're back on the next song at least. With this one, nope.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. It's I think it's obviously something that people would not take out to proper shows with. I mean, you couldn't, could you? Just for the risk of it. It will be very interesting to see what the battery life is, you know. There are certain products on the market today, like amplifiers, for example, that have like it's called, I think, a hot battery changeover. So someone else can swap the battery for you, and while you do the swap, the thing keeps working. So if they have some system like that in place, could be a doer, but I think it's I think that's not really realistic.
Yeah, I have, like, even though I'm fairly negative about this, or like skeptical, let's put it that way, I'm also kind of a little bit interested to try this out. It could be a lot of fun, like especially if it's a budget-friendly instrument. Just have this as your, like, could be a great practice rig, for example.
Yeah, exactly. For that kind of money, it seems like a no-brainer to at least try it. And I mean, the Mooer effects are good. People have been talking about the built-in effects unit could be the GE300. And if the guitar has all of that built into it for that price, that would be a one-stop practice solution for anybody anywhere. For example, you know, if you're going away somewhere, if you're going on holiday, if you're just going somewhere else for a day, or you take it to the office with you and you can literally just play in your lunch break or something. You don't need an amp, you don't need pedals. It seems like you literally just need the guitar and the headphones. And in that sense, if it's any good, I think they'll sell a lot.
Yep, that's true. So
depending, of course, on what the technology is going to be, and that's the other question. How long will it be relevant for, and how long will Mooer continue to update the products? You know, if it has software and apps and stuff, how long will they keep checking into it and making sure that the latest operating systems work with it and stuff like that? That's the other question.
Yeah, that's where, like, I have very little faith in Mooer. I've demoed several products where software felt outdated by the time the product was, like, in my hands, like 6 months after the release. Like the what was it called? Mooer. I need to check. I did a video on that as well. Mooer something. I think it was Preamp Live.
Something.
Yes.
The Preamp Live, where you can sort of profile amplifiers almost.
Yeah, like the software was so buggy on the Mac version, and like uploading anything there, like anything like that, like I don't think that product isn't relevant anymore. Like, even though it was released just a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, that's a really interesting product, that one, because it came out with a massive fanfare, and I remember a lot of videos from big guys like Fluff, you know, using it and showing in the videos at least that it sounded very good, and it seemed to be like a genuine contender against, for example, the Kemper Profiler. You know, a much cheaper version for people who wanted to do things like this. But I personally don't know anyone who ever bought that Preamp Live, and you don't see it in shops or anything. You never see it listed for sale in, you know, secondhand guitar markets or anything like that. It didn't catch on. And I think you're right now that the technology is no longer kind of kept up to date by Mooer, and if you do have one, it's getting harder and harder to use it.
Yep, that's the thing. Like, compared to Helix, for example, the Helix Stomp is still like very relevant, and they keep updating it all the time, adding like, even though it has limited processing power, because they keep pushing more and more updates, they're actually able to get more out of it, which is really cool. I think they just, like, it used to have, like, let's say 6 effects block. Now I think it has 8 or something. So, like, if you bought your HX Stomp 3 years ago, it's even better now. And that's fantastic. I like that approach a lot. With Mooer, I get a sense that it's creating a product that's good enough and throwing it out there and then moving on to the next thing. But I could be wrong. Maybe this is a completely different approach. Maybe they want to do something differently. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. And I hope it is, because for me personally, I think the idea looks really interesting and like a lot of fun. So I hope it does work out, and that the technology actually works for a longer period of time. Just out of interest, I was just navigating the Thomann website as we were talking, and I found the most affordable Harley Benton guitar with an ebony fingerboard, and that's €299. So ballpark pricing, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on these, and hopefully one day we'll get to try one out. That would be really interesting.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one, which is called, help me out, how on earth do you pronounce this? Harley Benton Aeolus something?
Aeolus.
My tongue just doesn't twist to those words. These kind of semi-hollow single-cut Harley Bentons with some premium features, according to GameNews.com. These look great. Like, kind of less Polish shape, dot inlays, semi-hollow. Really, really cool. There's two different finishes. There's like a sunbursty one or like a tobacco burst. Well, they're calling it glossy Bengal flame finish.
Glossy Bengal flame.
Yes. And then there's a Harley Benton Aeolus Frost Flame. Frost Flame. Well, I guess that's a Frost Flame. It looks like a flat finish. And arch tops, it seems.
Yeah. I love the look of these.
Yeah.
And I think on the website where we saw the news story, it refers to them as being like a mashup of a Les Paul and a 335.
Nice.
And that's kind of what they look like. It's like, if you're just listening to this and can't see it, it is a Les Paul body shape, slightly thicker by the look of it, with two F-holes on the front. And it looks to be, is it a completely hollow body or a semi-hollow?
Semi-hollow. So there's most likely like a center block. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a center block, two humbuckers, and what's that neck made of? That's definitely not rosewood or ebony. Is it roasted maple or something?
Roasted maple, according to the specs.
Roasted maple, a single volume, single tone control, and I think the pickups, the humbuckers are both splittable.
Yeah.
With a push-pull knob on the tone control.
Yeah.
Three-way selector switch. The pickups are Tesla brand, so invented by Elon Musk, especially for this guitar. They're solar powered, so this guitar doesn't need plugging in at all.
This is kind of crazy.
That's not true, by the way. At least it's probably not true. Yeah,
that's true. Like the Tesla pickups, I'm actually familiar with that brand from like almost 15 years ago. I was fairly active, or like very active on a Finnish musician forum, and especially on the guitar section. And people were like, somebody found this company that made Tesla pickups, and we would like bulk order those pickups as a group on those forums from China. So yeah, bunch of people have had the Tesla pickups, and they were good back then. And that's
are they cheap pickups? I wonder why these are in the guitars instead of Roswell or Wilkinson. I wonder what the deal is there.
Yeah, maybe my guess would be like they wanted to go with special pickups for these guitars, and like as you know, with affordable brands, like the way you save money is to produce a lot of the same thing, which saves you money. So maybe like redoing like some sort of pickup wiring station or something like that ended up being more expensive than just ordering these from Tesla.
Is this an original design by Harley Benton, would you say, or is this paying homage to something else? I mean, I've seen Les Pauls before with F-holes, semi-hollows. I remember Rob Chapman had one for a while, which was very, very cool. But that's a very rare thing for Gibson to do. And this looks like it might be Harley Benton trying to do their own thing a little bit. Again, maybe people watching and listening can tell us, is there a guitar model that this is based on specifically?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely took like liberties here and there. Like to me, it looks a bit more original, and like thing is, it's a set neck, but there's a freaking cool cutout there as well. Like you have high fret access on a semi-hollow guitar. That's very interesting. Like there's like almost like a shred guitar type of cutout going on in the neck as well, and
yeah, it's a curious mix of very modern and very vintage features and looks as well, I would say.
Yeah.
The Bengal burst, the glossy one, is much more traditional looking than the satin one, the Frost Flame.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm gonna
but you've got these modern features like the truss rod access down at the bottom of the neck, where the neck meets the body. You've got a truss rod wheel there, which again is making things very easy for the people who are doing work on these guitars. And on that cutaway, you've got a lot of access there, and there's also like a cut within the cutaway on the body to make it even easier, a smooth curve there.
Yeah.
These are very beautiful. These I'm even
like,
more
shout out
interested
to-
in than the Dullahans.
Yeah, also like shout out to whoever took the photos of these, because they look fantastic on the Harley Benton website as well, or like on the Thomann website. And yeah, really cool. I kind of want to try out this as well. Like I have no need for such guitar, but it hasn't stopped anyone ever.
No, exactly. I'm really interested to try one of these too. In fact, I want this more than the Dullahan.
I'm not surprised, but yeah.
No, I guess you wouldn't
Not
be.
surprised, but
this is
slightly
kind of this would
disappointed.
be a
I don't
unique
know.
guitar. This would be a
Yeah.
unique guitar in pretty much anyone's collection, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what's cool about this one.
Yeah, looks great. Again, links below in the description, or in the description if you're listening to the show. Check those photos out. These look really, really great. Jump to the next one, which is the Harley Benton DC-60 Junior, and I guess this is your thing quite a lot, like a single pickup P90.
It's
type of
literally
stuff.
my thing. There it is.
Yes. Oh, that's true.
yeah.
Hold on. Let's show that to the viewers. Where are you?
Yeah, the
There you
DC
go.
Junior. The DC-60 Junior is literally my thing. It's an SG Junior style of guitar, single P90 pickup, single Roswell pickup that is. And yeah, if you guys watch my channel, you know that I'm a sucker for single pickup guitars, single P90 guitars as well. And when I saw this one was going to be released, I just had to jump on it. Pelham blue as well, my favorite color pretty much. Well, blue guitars. For the price, it's so much fun. I've done a video already, so if you guys want to watch it, and Vlad is kind enough to put the link in the description, you guys can go and check it out. But
Absolutely.
it does exactly what you would expect it to do. I mean, it's a bit rough and ready. I mean, it's 199 euros, and you can't expect perfection for that price, you know?
Sure.
There's a couple of build things on it where I thought, oh, okay, I'll live with that. There's like a smudge of finish where it shouldn't be. I can also show you maybe here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's close-up pics in my video. You can see where the guys have... it's really hard to turn a guitar towards a camera when you're on camera.
True.
These bridge pins here, they've been twisted by a person to optimize the height, and you can see that they've kind of used a metal tool to do that, and it's cut into the metal there, so it's a bit ugly. You can't quite see it here, but on my channel there's a close-up image of that as well. Yeah, but a couple of little things, but apart from that, it's so much fun. It came set up really well. You know, this guitar wasn't set up by anyone specially for me or anything like that. I literally bought it like a normal person would, and it's just an awful lot of fun. It will benefit from a setup as well, but for 199 euros, I mean, crazy value for money. Harley Benton as well, just coming out with so many different designs and body shapes and original and also homage instruments. And I mean, what you get for the money is just awesome. I mean, recently we talked about the Aeolus, which is twice the price of this one and has so much for the money. But this one, it's if you're looking for something like this and you've got 200 or 300 euros to spare, then no brainer, as it was for me.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I'm starting to think of like is with these guitars, and for example, the bass I just ordered yesterday, like I'm actually taking into account the price of like a proper setup. I'll probably take it to a luthier right away to have like fret ends rounded up and stuff like that, and just make sure that they're level and things like that. But with some of the prices you're paying for like Harley Bentons, or in my case a Sterling bass, like they're so affordable that when you add up, like, I don't know, in Finland, I'd say with 100 euros, you'll get like a really good setup already for your instrument. Maybe even including the strings. So yeah, for 300-400 euros, or maybe in this Harley Benton's case, like 300-ish euros, you'll get a great guitar, which is also like a fun mod platform in the future if you want to upgrade it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also the kind of guitar that you could take on stage or to a gig or to a rehearsal studio without kind of feeling scared that it might get damaged, or if you drop it or spill beer on it or whatever, it's going to be a problem. I mean, I know that it's better not to do that kind of stuff, but if you're worried about taking a Gibson or even an Epiphone or something out and playing it and risking getting it damaged or stolen maybe, then the Harley Benton is going to cover that for you. And like you say, budget in a setup from the new price and you're laughing, really. This one definitely will get a setup, but it was good enough out the box that I have been enjoying it since then. No problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Hoping to try this one out at some point. I don't feel like
model, by the way. That's cool.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fairly rare, even like in budget-friendly guitar range. So that's cool. Lefties, they remembered you as well.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not sure how many of the Squier Paranormal guitars, for example, are available as left-handers. I mean, I'm assuming they have.
I'm not sure if they're.
But I'm not sure that there's any, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and that's a real shame. And luckily, both of us are right-handed, but I know a few left-handed players, and it's doubly frustrating for them because even when they do often get the chance to have one guitar from a new range, it'll be in the most kind of plain finish possible. So they'll get like maybe a boring sunburst version of something, and they won't have the same options as right-handers, and they'll often have to pay more as well for the benefit of having a left-handed instrument. Yeah, but these HB ones, they're the same price in lefty as well. So well done to Harley Benton for getting that right.
The next one was like, I didn't think I would be excited, but I am actually excited because Slash has unveiled like an Epiphone collection. So there's like a bunch of different Slash Epiphones with the new headstock, with some great specs as well. Look at the guy sitting in front of his Marshalls and Gibson and Epiphone guitars. Yeah, again, I saw an Anders video and I didn't think I could get excited about a Les Paul, but I kind of did. So
yeah, I mean, look at that picture. Slash is an icon. Whether you like him and his music or not, he's really kind of defined what Les Paul playing and players are like. And I mean, there's been a lot of talk over the years about Slash signature models. There are already so many Slash signature models, but it was about time that he got an Epiphone Les Paul run going, I think. There have been previous ones. There was a Slash's Snake Pit model, I think, in like vermilion red or something like that, with the zebra humbuckers. But now we've got kind of the classics. And we've got guitars that look like his famous Les Paul type guitar. Because am I right in saying that his original Les Paul is not even a Gibson?
No, it's not. It was made by like a local luthier. It was like a Gibson copy.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got
Yeah.
affordable versions finally, you know, with the right headstock of this guitar. And they look great. And they cost quite a lot of money for Epiphone models, but I assume they will sell by the truckload.
Yeah, it's still way, way cheaper than like a $8.99. Yeah. I think if they come with like a case as well as, like for example, James Nichols one, I think also comes with a case. And someone else also got an Epiphone signature. We talked about that person as well. Well, I forgot it right now. But yeah, they actually like have good specs as well, like mahogany bodies, like this see-through tops, Locktone 2-pneumatic bridge, Graphtec nut, Epiphone custom Pro buckets, which apparently are pretty good, and there's like orange top capacitors and CTS pots, so like good hardware as well. I think these are still worth the money, and like bunch of guys who are like Epiphone artists actually play their Epiphones live as well. Like Jared James Nichols, what's his name? Matt Heafy from Trivium, for example. He's really well known for his Epiphones as well, and he actually plays them all the time. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm not sure we will ever see Slash playing his Epiphones.
I was just about to say.
You never know. It's kind of the same with Joe Bonamassa, because those guys have such huge collections of the original guitars. It's like they just play those instead. You know, the one thing that I'm not too happy about with these guitars is what I've read in other places online, and that's that they cost about 900 euros here in Europe, and that's a lot of money for an Epiphone. Sure, you're getting great specs, but they're actually very close in specification to the current top-of-the-range Epiphone inspired by 1959 Les Paul, for example. And so effectively you're paying 100, 150, 200 bucks more just for the Slash signature. And is that fair?
True.
And I guess, for 900 euros, I feel like it would have been possible to put a different pickup in there. Not just an Epiphone humbucker. I mean, Epiphone pickups are great. I've got some really good ones. I love the ones in my Les Paul Traditional Pro, but you kind of feel like they could have done a bit more for 900. The Jared James Nichols guitar, for example, has a Seymour Duncan P90 in it. And for 900, I feel like they could have gone there.
Yeah. The Gear News article we're looking at actually says like, feels like there's like a Slash tax in there somewhere.
Slash tax, yeah, exactly. There you go.
Slash tax. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, $899 isn't cheap, and there's a lot of options in that price range already. I think you might be able to get like a Heritage or some brand that also has like a Les Paul type of guitar for that money as well, and those are great. I haven't tried any of these Epiphones, so don't know. I'm assuming the quality is pretty good. Also, I've heard. Okay.
They should be. What are the fingerboards made of? Are they ebony boards or are they like Laurel fretboards?
Let's see.
That's again just another personal bugbear of mine. If they're not ebony, let's read those specs.
Do not say actually.
Click on one of the product links down below, and we'll see.
Buy now. I'm not going to buy it, but.
So it's a mahogany body, AAA graded flame maple veneer, mahogany neck. As the neck is a Slash custom C shape. The fretboard is Laurel. There you go. So 900 euros, and you're not getting rosewood or ebony on the board.
Yeah.
Again, I understand why that's been done in the current day and age, but it's something I would prefer not to have. My 2014 Epiphone Les Paul Traditional Pro has a beautiful rosewood board, which is still a joy to play, and that cost 330 euros new 7 years ago with a hard case. I mean,
wow,
we haven't had that much inflation since then. We've just had the Slash tax.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's the Slash tax.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, those are the Les Pauls. There's also acoustic models as well, which I find quite interesting, quite cool. I mean, I don't really associate Slash with acoustic guitar whatsoever. Do you? I mean, are there any famous Guns N' Roses songs on acoustic? I'm not really a Guns N' Roses person. Apologies to anyone if you're offended by that.
I guess he has played those like acoustic guitars. Some of the songs, like there are a few songs from the band's range where like acoustic is very present. I'm guessing Slash is playing those there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They look nice. That's all I can say.
Two J45 models. They look really, really classy.
Yeah.
Again, you're going to be paying a Slash tax over standard models, but if you want to associate with Slash, and many, many guitarists do, then great. And we alluded to it earlier in the show, but this is another example for me of brands like Epiphone really going after doing something a bit different. I mean, I know Slash is super old school and very cliched in the world of guitar, but this is a kind of model and an amount of options that weren't available before. So kudos to Epiphone for doing that finally.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I also like the fact that none of these guitars are such that, like, when a random person would see you play one, they would go, like, "Oh, that's Slash's guitar. How embarrassing! Oh, how cool!" Like, nice Les Pauls and nice J45 acoustics that are also Slash signature instruments. I like that. So, like, they're a bit more neutral, I guess.
Yeah.
And I have to say, with the Les Pauls, none of the color options are such that I like immediately would like to get one.
I like the green one on the left. What's the name of that finish? Is that Anaconda Burst? I don't know.
Yes.
They all have Slash-related names, don't they?
Yes.
Anaconda
it's the
Burst, November Burst,
And there's the-
Appetite Burst, Metallic Gold, and Les Paul Vermilion Burst. Yeah, for me it would be Anaconda Burst. Can you click on the product page again? Because I really want to see if there is a case included for that price.
Oh, that's true. Let's go there.
Including case,
like-
it says at the bottom. So there you go.
The back of the guitar looks really nice in the Thomann product shot.
Yeah, really dark, sort of mahogany
Yeah.
stain. It looks really classy. But look at the pictures of the fingerboard there. And again, it's a taste thing and it's a psychological thing. But
Yeah.
if you
It
guys
looks
are
a bit
looking at this
different.
and not listening, that Laurel board looks so dry just in that product image to me. It
True.
doesn't look high quality at all.
Yeah.
I know I'm
That's
biased
true,
against
it's
Laurel, but
pretty
still,
nice.
if you're looking at this, just tell me you would not want to just oil that straight away.
I was
and
just
try
going
and
to say, like, you can always dye it as well if you want to.
Yeah.
It does come with a nice looking case.
Yep. Good case with the Slash logo. Very nice.
Yeah. $8.99 for me. I would get like a 24% discount because I can buy it without VAT, but it's still quite a lot of money. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That is a fair amount. And they're already in stores. So there's
Yeah,
going to be
that's
videos popping up online soon. So I'm interested to see how these turn out.
Harley Benton guitars, because this is also something we missed. They put out some cool Explorer style guitars on the market, and to me they go very heavily for this kind of ESP version. So not like Gibson Explorer as much as this looks more like the Hetfield ESP signature guitar. And
Yeah, it gives
what's
me
also
more of a
interesting
metal
is
vibe
that-
for sure.
Yeah. And what's also interesting is like they're actually kind of offering two tiers of this guitar. So there's a EMG loaded version, which is obviously more expensive, and then there's I'm guessing they're Harley Benton's own Roosevelt pickups, or at least like more budget friendly pickups. And I think that drops the price by like 100 and something euros if you don't get the EMGs. So if you don't actually want to have the EMGs, you might actually opt out or like go for the cheaper one. And if you want to upgrade the pickups later, you kind of save the money for those. You can obviously also sell the EMGs, but yeah, I think these look cool.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's a
like
great
a-
idea. I mean, it is a much more kind of modern version of a Gibson Explorer. Of course, they couldn't go for the exact Gibson Explorer body shape because, as we all know, Gibson will come for you if you do anything like that. But they've gone with something which I think if you're playing thrash or if you're playing any kind of metal, modern metal or not quite so modern, these are going to be right up people's street. They look really sleek. They kind of look like they're worth a lot more money than they actually cost. Do you have the prices on the page that you're looking at?
Just a second. Around $400 with the EMGs, and the Roosevelt loaded are $298.
Yeah, so
Prices
there you go,
vary a little
that's-
bit depending where you live, but
Yeah, sure. But
we're going to
that's
put a
very
link to
affordable
Thomas. Yeah,
and four
definitely.
beautiful finish options.
yep. That's
We've
true
got-
as well.
Do we have the names for the colors? I mean, the one that jumps out at me is the Benton blue, which is kind of like
Benton
a
blue.
sky blue sort of a color. It's a very vibrant looking color. There's a black one. There is a whitish one, vintage white, and there is
Vintage white,
yeah,
the modern black, and
is-
shell pink.
shell pink, which in that image you're showing us right now looks like dirty white again, but I'm sure it'll be slightly shellier in the flesh.
If you're the photographer for Harley Benton who takes the pictures, this isn't the first time shell pink doesn't look like shell pink. Please.
Go up to the top of the page.
I mean, it's a bit more pinkish there. Here, okay.
But that's surely the same picture.
Yeah, I don't know. Why is just Photoshop it to make a bit more pink? I don't know. Why they always come out white. It's weird. I
don't know. But they look like great guitars, though. Have you ever played an Explorer type?
Yeah, I was actually wanted to mention, like, with Explorer, for me it feels really uncomfortable to play sitting on your lap. But when you put like a strap and you stand, the only pose you can do with that is like you kind of spread your legs a little bit and like do the head feel pose rather where like somehow it like sits in a way where like I don't think you can like stand fully like straighten up with that one. You just have to do like the heavy metal kind of slightly hunched back type of thing right away. Just like calls for that or something like that. I love how it feels to play that way.
Yeah,
and I think the one I played was like a Gibson Explorer.
Yeah. Again, I've tried standing up. I've never tried sitting down because it just felt like it would be a non-starter. I've tried a V sat down, and that kind of works if you sort of put it in between your legs. Much more fun standing up. But the one thing I remember most about playing an Explorer is my friend and musical colleague back in the day, Dan, he had an Epiphone Explorer in black, the Corina version. It was an absolutely beautiful guitar, but they're actually huge, like physically gigantic guitars. And I'm talking about the bodies, specifically kind of, I don't know which part you would describe it as, the big pointy bit at the back, you know, where the arm kind of rests on. And whenever you would turn round when standing up playing one of those Explorers, you'd smack into a cymbal stand or a mic stand or into the face of your singer. And it was not very practical for me to play whatsoever. A very nice guitar indeed, the Epiphone Explorer, but yeah, a death trap. And this one is even pointier than the Epiphone or the Gibson models, so you could take someone's eye out with that thing. But I'm sure they're fantastic guitars for the money.
Yeah, and you can't put that on any stand either, like floor stand. You basically have to wall mount it.
Yeah, or you have to get one of those stands that kind of just grabs the guitar like at the top of the neck under the headstock and it just floats in midair. But I'm never too happy with those. Yeah, these are not practical guitars, but I think they're not supposed to be, are they?
Yeah, but my guess is like for the money you're getting a lot. Maybe not like a perfect guitar as with any budget-friendly guitar, but based on what I've tried from Harley Benton lately, like even though you might not always get like a fully like there's always something. Let's put it that way with those, but they're just killer mod platforms as well. So
yeah, exactly. And if you're like a younger player or just looking for kind of, if you're an experienced player and you've never had an Explorer, for example, and you just want to get one of these as a kind of a taster into that world of guitar, just to see how it feels, if you like the body shape, if you like the way it performs, there's probably no better way to do it than this, because I don't think you could probably find at least where I live in Germany, you probably couldn't even find a used Epiphone for the price of one of these new Harley Benton models.
Yeah, that's true.
In that sense, they're a total no-brainer. I would get the Benton Blue one, of course.
Of course. I don't know, I'm kind of torn between the shell pink and the vintage one, dirty white, as you call it.
I think you should call up your colleague at Harley Benton, your friend Bene, and I think you should order the shell pink one. And then when you get it in person, we can actually see what color it is. So that will kill two birds with one stone. Because
that's true.
I really like shell pink, and that doesn't look like shell pink to me.
Yeah, true. But again, we looked at the dollar hand guitars a few weeks ago, and like those photos also didn't look like shell pink.
That was the same, wasn't it? Yeah, it was it was like an anemic shell pink.
This is how shell pink looks like if you put it in the sun for 4 weeks. ESP announces the new Alexi Laiho. That's how you pronounce it. It's not Alexi Laiho. It's Alexi Laiho. Learn to pronounce as Finns do. Finnish lesson number 1 today. Yeah. Alex is, of course, known for his band Children of Bodom, and like just before his passing, he passed in December 2020, I think, or like early this year, very early this year, from like he had a medical issue, and yeah, he was very respected guitar player, like all over the globe, very well known as well, and I think his ESP signature model / LTD signature model is probably like one of the top 3 sellers of all time for ESP. I don't have the data to back this up, but those guitars sold like crazy in like early 2010s. Like they were everywhere. So yeah. This looks a little bit different from the previous. Yeah. Go ahead.
Are you familiar with his signature series? Have you played the previous models? And is this something that you would buy, this new one?
I am familiar. I was pretty close to buying one in my like true heavy metal teenage years. So like 2005 maybe. Something like that. I would be 2005, I would be like 16, 17 at that point, I think. Yes, I think that's how math works. I was like really close to buying one of the LTDs. So, but then I didn't buy one because everyone else had one of those. Like you could see these guitars in like church bands and everywhere. So, yeah. These actually look a bit more like the Jackson signature he used to have, or like he first played Jackson guitars, again a V-shape that looked a bit like this, and now they came out with an ESP and LTD versions. Yeah, I don't know, somehow it looks a bit more like Jackson. I think maybe I just remember it wrong, but the older one was like a slightly smaller body. And speaking of which, like some people know that I have the Jazzmaster project going on, and I go to a local luthier to build it every few weeks or so when I have time. Last time I was there, like one of these types of guitars was there for repairs, because as you can see on the pictures, like there's really long like upper horn and like the lower horn, and I think like 30%. This is just my like guesstimation. Like 30% of all the guitar luthiers in like between like 2005 and 2010. Like probably like 30 to 50% of their repairs were like fixing people's guitars who had like LTDs and ESPs that they had hit when trying to do the Alexi Laiho tricks with their guitars and hit those corners into like a wall or a chair, anything like that, and there were always cracks or like a horn would break or anything like that. Because I can totally imagine many repair. Yeah, because I saw so many repair shops like fixing those, like repairing those. So.
Yeah. I've never played one of these kinds of guitars, but we've talked about it previously. I've played Explorers before, and when you turn around, you hit stuff, and if you're unlucky, you break stuff, you crack stuff. But yeah, these guitars, they have kind of a white sort of almost arrow chevron type design on it. Almost looks like they're pre-broken. So the first time you smash it on the top horn, that first bit down to the white line will break off. The second time, the next bit will break off, and then you're down to the minimum part of the body there. So I quite like that.
So it's kind of like a puzzle guitar. It's just like you can take off the different horns.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. They're very expensive, these guitars, by the way. I've just seen the prices.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to avoid the feeling of like ESP is kind of taking advantage of his death, I guess. Because like...
You think? Okay.
In the past, the cheapest models were like $400 or $500 or so. These are like $5,800, $2,500, and $1,600. That's a lot of money.
5,800 is the handcrafted version.
Sure.
But that's, 5,800, you're up in whatever you want territory. You're up for a custom built luthier thing. You're up for a Gibson custom shop model if you want. You can buy vintage guitars for that much money. But in terms of the metal realm, like this, because this is obviously very much a metal guitar, I can't think of that much else off the shelf, which is going to cost about this much money. This is one of the most expensive guitars I've seen in that genre.
And I think for this money, you could get like a custom shop Jackson's as well, or like a local luthier would build you one of these as well for that money easily, and you can customize everything on it. Obviously, it won't be like an Alexi Laiho signature, but still, I don't know. ESP seems to know their audience though, so I'm guessing there's a market for these, and like, I bet this will sell. Especially because this will probably be like, depends on what kind of deal they have with the Alexi Laiho estate, I guess, at this point. Like, this might be the last one of his signature model, or maybe not. Not sure. They're still selling Dimebag Darrell guitars as well, so hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This just makes me sad. Like, I wasn't a huge Children of Bodom fan, or his new band whose name I forgot the name, but yeah, he had a new band as well going on. Like, he was in a metal genre, he was one of the few like unique guitar players, both like composition wise and also like the way he played and the kind of riffs he created and stuff like that. And it was really cool to have like that kind of guitar icon coming from Finland and being respected by like just everyone. So,
yeah, exactly. He was one of the true icons of that niche, that genre. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it says in the article that we're looking at that he was working with the company on these guitars before his death. But yeah, now they're out 9 months later, and people are going to have to stump up a pretty hefty amount of cash to get one, unless they go for one of the more mass-produced versions. But it's going to be really interesting to follow this, and we hope that ESP Ltd can do kind of justice to his legacy with these guitars and not do anything kind of exploitative of the fact that he's no longer with us.
We are obviously going to start with the Fender Player Plus Series. Thank you. Rich is applauding me. I kind of deserve it in a way, if you will, because I tend to mess this up. But yeah, moving on to the actual article, we are quoting guitarworld.com, and it says Fender launches all new Player Plus electric guitar and bass models with fresh finishes and switching options. And basically they are launching, I think it was 4 different Strats, then there was 4 different Teles, then there was at least 1 precision bass, excuse me, and then there was a jazz bass as well, or was there actually 2 of them? Let me quickly check. Yeah, there's 2 different versions. And these are made in Mexico, but they are kind of pricier than you might usually expect from...
made in Mexico, sold at US prices. Almost.
Yeah, kind of. Though I have to say the specs look pretty darn impressive. There's like rolled edges on the fingerboard, which kind of gives you that kind of played-in feel, and also it's just so much more comfortable to play when there's rolled edges. I think they redesigned the noise pickups on all of these guitars because people have had.
Oh, have they? Okay.
Yeah, I think I checked out like an Anderton's video or something, and they mentioned that these are like actually redesigned. So it's like, if people had some issues with previous ones, these apparently are new, but I reserve the right to be wrong here. I might have just misread it somewhere. But I gotta say, this look nice.
Yeah, so where do you think that these sit within the overall Fender range? Because for the past couple of years, we've had the player guitars, which are like the most affordable full-fat Fender guitars made in Mexico. And in European prices, they're about, what, 500, 600, maybe 700? So, within the reach of most players, I would say. We also have the Noventa series, and we have a bunch of different American series. I assume most of which have been discontinued as we talk, but the most affordable of those was the American Performer.
Yeah.
And those guitars were around the same price as these Player Plus guitars. So I'm actually quite confused as to where these sit within the Fender canon.
Yeah, I definitely get that. To me, they seem to be like, if I take a look at Ibanez, they have the Indonesian-made ones, which are like around 1,000-ish euros or so, maybe slightly a bit more. To me, these kind of feel like they fit into that range. So it's like kind of pro-level specs, but still like fairly affordable. Though I don't know what's the difference, like price difference between one of these compared to like an American-made one. I'm not too familiar with all of the like different price ranges Fender has.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm placing too much emphasis in my head on the importance of where they're built. Because actually, at the end of the day, what's the difference between being built in Mexico and being built in America? Is it that much of a difference?
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite Telecaster is a Mexican standard from 7 years ago. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like the Strat I bought from Thomann a few years ago was also Mexican made, and it was like 1,000-ish euros price range. And I never felt like, oh, this is way too much for a Mexican Strat, putting that in quotes, because it just felt great. It was really well built, and it was just too vintage for me with its 7.25-inch radius. But otherwise, like,
that was a road-worn Strat, wasn't it, yours? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So these ones, the Player Plus, I would say are far less traditional than some of the other ranges that we have. And I think the key thing there is the finishes that you have. You know, there's no two-color sunbursts, Fiesta red or black. Well, I mean, you can get some plain colors, but we've got a selection of very eye-catching designs, and I think a few which might be quite divisive.
Yeah.
So we're just flicking through the screen. There's a Silverburst HSS Strat. There is a beautiful, I don't know even how to describe that color. What's that finish called?
That's like a tequila sunburst, or like a burst of fade, something like that. I think that's how some people
is it tequila sunrise? Because I was going to say,
that's true.
It looks like a cocktail to me.
Yeah.
It's just red that transitions to yellow / orange. It's a beautiful guitar, but I can imagine, you know, some players will really be put off by the looks and some will love it. That's
but
Tide Pool blue, is it? It's not quite Lake Placid blue.
Yeah.
But you can see also from the pictures, by the way, that there are not rosewood fingerboards on these. They're Pau Ferro or Laurel, right?
I remember seeing this. You can get it with either maple or rosewood fingerboards. So there you go.
Those pictures are not rosewood boards. They can't be.
It has to be the Harley Benton photographer effect here as well.
Ah, that's what it is, yeah. I'm going to have a look on the Fender site right now, actually, just to
I mean,
but if they're rosewood, they need a good oiling. But if they are rosewood, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that these colors are a bit less traditional, but then again, I think the whole guitar goes for a bit more modern vibe anyway because of the
rolled fingerboards
edges. Yeah, and these have 22 frets instead of 21. Then the tremolo system is actually 2-point, which I personally like quite a lot. It just feels a bit different, and you can actually like use it a bit more in a way, I want to say. So there's that, and a bit more modern finishes. Stainless steel, noiseless pickups, stainless steel pickups. That would be a new thing.
Stainless steel, noiseless pickups. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Teflon pickups in the Tele models.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I'm just to confirm, I am on the Fender website, and it is Pau Ferro. The darker fingerboards are not rosewood. So the site that we're looking at is that Music Radar. They've got that flat wrong, unfortunately. So Guitar World. Well, yeah, same company. So there you go. They are Pal Ferro boards. But I would recommend anyone who's interested in these guitars to go to the Fender site and have a look, because you can really see the beauty of some of those finishes. I'm just looking at the HSS Strat right now, and there is a 3-color Sunburst, which looks nice with a maple board, but there's also a Cosmic Jade, which is like a sparkling kind of bright green, which is, I think, beautiful. Would love to see it in the flesh. Then we've got a Silver Burst, which is awesome. And Silver Burst, of course, is hot right now. We all remember the Adam Jones Tool,
that is
Gibson
true.
Les Paul custom guitar saga. And then there is one called Bel Air Blue, which is right up my street. It kind of looks like you're at the beach. It's like it goes from an almost sonic blue, sky blue, through to turquoise, through to a deep royal sea blue. So that's a beautiful guitar. I'm such a sucker for a finish that I like. You know, not even thinking about the rest of the specs or anything like that. I love that Bel Air Blue finish. That's the one I'd buy. And that guitar is 1,100 euros. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about those prices, Vlad? I think you said you find that quite affordable.
I mean, I would love to try this out, and like, because it's Fender, it might actually be possible in Finland. Like, I have a feeling like when you pick one of these up, you'll get a feeling of like a really solid guitar with good specs, good hardware. Like there's locking tuners, proper tremolos and stuff like that. And as I mentioned, these come with 22 frets, so there's a little bit of modern touch there as well, noiseless pickups. And I think there was like even some switching options here, like not just the 5-way switch, but was there something else?
Yeah, they do. So like the HSS Strats, you can split the humbucker. And in the 3 single coil Strats, you can pull up the second tone knob. And when you're on like the bridge mode and the second position, you can also have the neck pickup active. So it gives you some very different, interesting sounds. And I would recommend anyone watching to watch the video by our good friend Eirik from Living Room Gear Demos, because he actually was lucky enough to get one of these guitars in and he demos that sound. And it sounds great. Another thing that we didn't mention in terms of modern fittings is locking tuners. That's another cool feature.
Yeah. Man, I love this Tele. This looks so weird. Like there's like from white to like black fade.
It looks like a pint of Guinness. I like it. And I'd like a pint of Guinness right now. That's a nice guitar. Oh, a Nashville Tele.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like they're definitely leaning into like super versatile, like working musicians' tools type of thing. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Like, and that's why, at least based on the specs and in the videos I've seen, like I feel the price is justified. Obviously, like you gotta try one out to actually find out whether they feel and look like and perform well. But I mean, this looks great as well. This is also like this bluish sparkle type of thing. I'm kind of excited. I don't need a Tele, but I wouldn't mind getting like some sort of Strat, and these are very tempting. There's definitely less emphasis on the bass side, so it seems. Oh, a 5-string like tequila. What was it? Tequila Sunrise jazz bass. That's kind of cool.
Is there a P bass or is it just jazz?
Just jazz. There was one P bass, but they don't have more. They don't have like additional pictures. There's just one 4-string. Like, is it like pearl or Olympic pearl? I guess is the color. Just one P bass, which is actually not. It's like an active precision bass, but it also has like a jazz master pickup in it as well.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, it's like you say, they are focusing on making these instruments super versatile. You know, like the working guitar or bass that a musician can take out on stage, and they only need that one instrument to do everything, and they can rely on it too.
Yep, I like this. Like,
it's
really
a cool
looking
addition
forward
to the range.
Definitely.
I just the one thing that gets me still is the fact that you could pay a tiny little bit more and dip your toe into American-built Fender territory, or even buy, American stuff used for less than what these cost. So in that sense, it's going to be
true.
interesting to see how these go. But also, look at those finishes. If you were tired of boring Strat, Tele, and P and jazz bass finishes, this is going to be your thing.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like looking forward to seeing more demos of these. Some of them, as you mentioned, have been kind of popping up on our YouTube feeds, and I'm guessing there will be a lot more as well. So
I would imagine so.
Yeah. But it is interesting. Like it's the same as with Indonesia-made stuff. Like prices on those keep going up on like some of the products, but also the specs go way up as well with those price increases. So I guess it's like if you put a lot of emphasis on where the guitar is made, then yeah, I get it. This feels weird. Like if the American ones are just a tiny bit more expensive. But then again, I don't know. I'd be happy to like use one of the Indonesian-made Ibanez guitars as one of my main guitars. It was just super solid and felt like an instrument you could trust to do well in any situation. So
yeah.
But I don't know. I have mixed feelings on like which one would I get. Maybe like a Strat, maybe even like an HSS Strat. But with a banger because Harley Benton just released Fusion THSHH roasted. Let's click a button so we can see them as well. Kaboom! Yeah, basically dual humbucker floating bridge, kind of Telecaster style shred machines. I gotta say, these look cool. As anyone who has ever watched anything I do, I have a soft spot for teles, and I kind of want one.
Yeah, I kind of also do. I think they were teasing these guitars just when we recorded our previous live episode, so almost 2 weeks ago. And now they're here, and yeah, it's no massive surprise what they are, but they look very, very cool. And they're doing that Harley Benton thing of, if you look down and see the prices, we'll see that they cost around 400 euros. So we're up at kind of premium Harley Benton prices in terms of that brand. But look at the specifications, what you get for that money, and it's just, they're really knocking it out of the park right now with what they're offering.
Yeah, and once again, shell pink. Okay, this looks a little bit pinkish at least. But like, it's still not. There's a hint of pink in this one.
There's a hint of pink. Look at the flame on that neck, on the back of the neck there. It's beautiful.
It looks great. We talked about the Aeolus. Like the only thing I don't like about these is the fact that I think the Tesla pickups that come with the Aeolus were like a tier above the Roswell pickups that are on these. That's how I feel, at least. Like,
you think? Okay.
Yeah, that's my experience. I've had couple guitars with Roswell pickups. I've had the one that looks like Pete Thorne's signature. So that's like whatever the model name was. It's part of the Fusion.
That's a Fusion as well, isn't it? But yeah, Fusion S, like, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Not as big as a fan of the pickups as on the Aeolus, but you can always swap them.
Yeah. Let's go through the specifications of these guitars quickly for anyone who can't see it.
Yeah.
So they're part of the Pro Series, again, which is the more expensive. I'm not going to say the boutique Harley Benton range because there aren't any real boutique Harley Benton ranges either, but the less cheap of the Harley Benton range. So roasted hard Canadian flame maple necks, twin Roswell Alnico 5 humbuckers, a Wilkinson 2-point trem system. So you've got a whammy on this Tele model, which is quite an unusual thing. And WSC staggered locking tuners. WSC is not Wilkinson. I get a fair bit of confusion on my videos, and I always make the distinction that WSC is a separate brand. I would say a level below Wilkinson stuff. And they also have a 42mm Graphtec Tusk XL nut. So we're looking at fairly similar specs to the Aeolus apart from those pickups, as you mentioned. And if you scroll down just a little bit more, I'm going to guess we have stainless steel frets. Yes, we do. 22 of those, medium jumbo. The bodies are that unpronounceable word, sapele. Sapella?
Something like that.
Sapele.
Yeah.
I'm going to pronounce it after the footballer, sapele. And I don't really know how heavy that wood is generally, but I'm guessing these are going to be quite weighty beasts.
Yeah.
And the colors: ice blue, shell pink, flame Bengal burst, Daphne blue, dark pink, and silver sparkle. So pretty much something for everybody who doesn't want, a two-tone sunburst. Although with the flame Bengal burst, you're not that far away anyway. But these are definitely modern double humbucker equipped Telecaster vibes.
Yeah. I should also mention that the colors have been designed or chosen by our friend Hunter from Agufish channel. He actually posted a video.
Oh, really?
Where the title was,
I didn't know that.
I chose the colors for these. So, yeah, I like this a lot. The neck joint looks great. We are watching the Thomann website right now, and it's still like a bolt-on neck, but there's a nice carve. Should give you a very nice higher bed access. Yeah, I am very interested in one of these. Look at that.
Yeah,
that looks great.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It's very sewer vibey, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you should get in touch with your friends at Harley Benton and get one sent to you immediately. Now you've got time to maybe pick up the guitar again. It's probably not my ballpark as much because for me personally, I love tellies as well, but I have never loved a telly with a whammy bar on it. So, I mean, it could be something for me to try, but I suspect that I would just prefer to have it without. So it's not for me, sadly. But that's okay.
That's okay. You don't have to like everything.
Yeah, there's a guitar for everybody.
Yeah. I kind of feel I would have trouble choosing which one.
Can we have a closer look at the... Yeah, I like that. Can we have a closer look at the dark pink?
Yeah. I think that might be the one. Oh, in Finnish, I would call... I think I've mentioned before, it looks like there's a Finnish saying it looks like berry porridge. So exactly
this berry porridge. Okay.
Yes.
That guitar looks very Charvel-esque to me. Yeah. And I know that you have a thing for pink Charvels too. So that would be your choice. For me personally, I would like a more neon pink if I was going to get a pink guitar, because if you're going to go pink, you go all in for me. But that's still pretty cool.
Yeah. True.
Again, roasted maple for the neck is great and for the fingerboard, but with that color, I would like to see an ebony board instead. I would love that.
Yeah.
But look at the flame on the back of that neck. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing somewhere that there's more and more factories who are able the technology of roasting maple has evolved quite a bit. Even 10 years ago, it was a rarity. And very few places actually produced that, and now it's kind of everywhere. And why not?
Yeah,
maple is more less rare and stuff like that. It's kind of more environmental friendly as well. I want to take a look at the
maple has been a traditional fingerboard and neck wood for ages, and now for people who wanted rosewood but can't have it anymore on cheap guitars because of the CITES regulations, we have roasted maple, and it looks great. But the one thing for me about roasted maple is that because of the guitars that it first started appearing on, it has a more kind of metal vibe for me and less of a classic sort of an aesthetic. So I always feel like a guitar with a roasted maple neck and fingerboard is going to be kind of a modern one as opposed to a more classic leaning one.
Yep. I mean, this looks great. Yeah, I'm actually starting to lean towards the shell pink one. I'm so going to email Harley Benton after this show.
Do it. I would love it if they'd made like a gold one of these, I think. Or, can we see the silver sparkle? Like I've been kind of looking around for sort of a satin gold finish guitar for quite a while, just on the off chance that something shows up at a decent price, but there's not many gold guitars to be had.
Yeah, like some of these have like, that's actually really cool. Huh?
That's a nice finish, but the silver sparkle is only on the top, isn't it? Not on the back or the sides.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's more
we can see how many pieces of wood are in that body. That's interesting.
Oh, that's true. This one is made out of 3.
3-piece?
I think I'm seeing 3, no, maybe 4. On this left side, there might be a 4th piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you
Which
say
is
it,
absolutely
Mario.
not a problem, by the way. It's just something you can see on this guitar and not on the others. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see actually as well that the back of that neck is way less flamed. By the way, your Aeolus, how flamed is that neck? Because in the specifications, the Aeolus necks are mentioned as flamed, but mine is not flamed at all, at least not to the naked eye. I mean, obviously it's been, produced in that way, but there is no flame that you can see and enjoy.
Allow me to switch the camera.
Bigger.
Sorry, listeners, but yeah, it's not that flamey.
No.
I mean, it's very difficult to show. There's a bit more going on maybe here, closer to the neck joint. But it's not super apparent.
Yeah, just when you twisted it then, there's a little bit down towards the dusty end of the fretboard, closer to you.
Yes.
Where you can kind of see it a little bit, but not that much. So nothing like what we've got on these new Fusion Ts. But it's interesting to see the Aeolus there in your hand. I feel like the Fusion Ts are basically exactly the same guitar as the Aeolus, apart from the body shape. And they cost the same amount of money, roughly €400. The one big difference being that the Aeolus is semi-hollow and has the Tesla pickups, and the Fusion Ts have the Wilkinson whammy bar and bridge on them, and that probably accounts for the budget, I would say.
Yeah. The silver sparkle one looks great as well. Except I need to click the button so everyone else can see it as well. There you go. Yeah. I kind of like that one as well. The thing is, like, when you order one of these, you need to remember that there will probably be quite a lot of variation in the colors and flaminess and stuff like that.
Just of course, yeah. And
it's a budget.
Harley Benton also picks the most beautiful guitar that they can find to take official pictures of course.
Absolutely.
As any brand would. Yeah. But the sparkle on that is lovely. Very nicely done.
It looks great. I didn't know I would like a sparkle guitar, but that looks great. Yeah, then there's some more.
Do they do S-type guitars in this new range as well?
I think they put out a range of those as well. So let's see, Fusion S. Let's go with that one. We're searching the Thomann website. Yep.
Seems like they do.
There's the Daphne Blue, the Shell Pink one. I think
price,
they kind of
same
released
colors.
these at the same time. This is also kind of cool. Is it gold hardware? No. I don't like gold hardware.
It doesn't work with the Shell Pink on that instrument, does it?
Yeah, gotta be more specific. But this looks silver. What? I hope they didn't put a gold bridge and a silver colored tuners. That would be a bit. This does look a bit Shell
it looks
Pink.
different in every image.
Yeah. Oh, well. That looks like it's chrome.
That's definitely chrome, that one. But the other one looks gold, 100%. So again, get Harley Benton to send you one and then you'll find out in person.
More. Exactly. Matt Heafy reveals, kind of two new Epiphone signature models. Apparently he's
original one was sold out a while ago already. And by the way, I have to mention, it's really cool that he's actually playing the same guitars in his band. So he's actually playing the guitars he's selling, and that's pretty amazing. So there's a 6-string one, which is a bit more traditional Les Paul shape, 24.75-inch scale. But then there's also a 7-string one, or there will be a 7-string one, which is 25.5-inch scale length. I wasn't able to find a picture of the 7-string one just yet, but I'm sure there will be photos of it at some point. And what else? It's also equipped with his own Fishman custom MKH Fluence Modern 3-voice pickup. So it comes with like killer pickups for metal. And there was like all kinds of switching options that I completely forgot at this point. I watched this video and I think all of the 4 pots had a push-pull feature. And if you know anything about those Fishman Fluence pickups, forgot the name of the brand for a second. They got so many different switching options, and you are getting a lot of different sounds. And on the final note, I've listened to the Trivium's new album over the past week or so. It's actually good. Hadn't listened to the band for over a decade, and all of a sudden I hear them again, and it is good. Those guys can play and sing.
Oh yeah, they absolutely can. I remember when they first came out with the first record, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head either. Was it Ascendancy?
Was it Shogun? Oh, they had something like Shogun or something like that. Let me check.
You'll have to Google that. But yeah, I remember when they came out, and I remember seeing them in magazines like Kerrang and Metal Hammer, and I was just, at some point, someone put how old Matt Heafy was, and he's younger than me by a year or two, I think. And I was like, oh my God, this guy he's so talented. He, an amazing songwriter at such a young age, a great player. And some of the stuff that he plays while performing those intricate vocals is pretty crazy. So he's always been a great musician, and I think a big inspiration to a lot of players coming through. And of course, he's always had this thing with Epiphones, and he's had a previous signature run of guitars, which were, by all accounts, very, very good value for money. They sold out, and now we have these new ones, which look fantastic again, although Matt doesn't look particularly happy in the image there. Perhaps he's just thinking about dinner or something. I don't know. But
could be.
These should be, in terms of value for money, in terms of what you get for that price, pretty decent guitars. Pro-level guitars, I would say. And indeed, he is a pro who's playing them on stage. So
I actually have to mention also that the neck joint on this guitar looks super comfortable. So it's not like a traditional bulky Les Paul neck joint. It's like very nicely carved, and you should have way better upper fret access, which makes sense for metal guitar play. He's also like a killer lead player as well, and does a lot of the solos on the band's songs, so it just makes sense. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, go ahead.
It's great that, Epiphone and also Gibson these days are making the modern Les Pauls that give metal players and people who want to get up to the 24th fret quickly easier access to do that. So it's a no-brainer that this guitar has that sculpted heel or cutaway or whatever you want to call it. I think these are going to do really, really well.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out where is the fourth tuning peg on the 7th string, but we are checking out the Guitar World article, and I think there's a video clip playing where you can see that the kind of upper side, when you hold the guitar in the lap, the upper side of the headstock has 4 tuners, and then there's 3 on the other side. So that's how they space them out. And also another interesting thing to mention, all of these models have a lefty option, which is very rare.
Also very cool. This is a case of an artist who clearly cares 100% about the instrument and about his personal use and enjoyment of it, but also the people who would buy it. And you know that Matt Heafy is obviously very much attuned to what his fans are into, because he does a lot of online digital media, doesn't he? He streams.
Yeah.
He's worked with YouTubers before. It's actually Jared Dines, isn't it, who's toured with Trivium and played a few shows with them in the not too distant past. So this is a guy who's totally in tune with his audience, and I applaud him.
Yep.
I'm applauding.
Yep.
You just can't see it because I'm not in frame right now, but I am physically applauding Matt Heafy.
Your hands are just like us on the camera and you are applauding very actively.
They're just kind of wobbling around underneath. Yeah.
Yes.
I was applauding.
Doesn't
nothing
look weird
more.
at all.
No.
From Epiphones to Fender, Fender unveils the Acoustasonic Player Telecaster. So, an Acoustasonic silly shape, but made in Mexico. And it's, as Ryan of 60 Cycle Hum pointed out in his thumbnail, it's cheaper now. And slightly less featured as the American-made one, but this is an interesting move, I gotta say, because it's... I'll try to find the price as we speak, but it's not like that much cheaper. It's 1,079 euros at Thomann as of shooting this video, and that's... I'm probably getting like Finnish prices for this, so in Europe. 10.99 at Thomann, available immediately. Shipped to Finland.
Which is an interesting price point.
Yes.
I've looked at the forums that I read, and they're mostly UK based. And in the UK, you can buy a new but B-stock American built Acoustasonic guitar for about £300 more than this Mexican one. So they're quite close in terms of price points. It's going to be interesting to see what people make of them and if they perform anywhere near as well as the American ones. I don't think the fact that they have less tonal options will put people off. And I guess the natural next step is going to be in 6 months' time, there'll be a Mexican version of the Jazzmaster Acoustasonic as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's 1777 for the US-made one, the Acoustasonic Telecaster, that is. So there's a €700 price difference. That's a lot, but it's not that much. I don't know. I mean, all the profits go to the same company at the end, so I don't know if that really matters, but it's interesting.
I mean, I think it totally makes sense for them to build affordable versions of their more expensive instruments, but
yeah,
I also feel like I mocked the Acoustasonic a little bit when it came out, and I don't want to make fun of this guitar either too much. My question is still, who's buying these? I really would like to know for whom they're the most practical. I can totally imagine that if you're a live player and you're playing a set where you play acoustic and electric songs in the same set, if you want to have one instrument to do all of that, you could use one of these. But I don't think it's the kind of guitar you'd sit with at home and just noodle sat on the couch, right? I mean, you had the Acoustasonic. What does it sound like actually acoustically?
It's actually a perfect noodling guitar on the couch because there is the acoustic element, but it's not as loud as like if I get my dread on and sit on the couch, no one around me will be happy because it's a big body guitar. It's loud. This isn't.
Yeah.
And the Jazzmaster version I had sustained really well and was just a lot of fun to play. And I kind of wish I could have kept it, but I also need to feed the family, so I wasn't able to. But I mean, I think like it's growing on me more and more. Like especially after having one, I like the concept a lot, and like pairing acoustic guitar sounds with more like electric guitar style playability. At least it's not like exactly the same as picking up my Tele or anything else, but it's way closer. I really like that idea of it. And especially the Jazzmaster one was even more versatile sound-wise than these are. So I'm guessing the next one they'll release will be the Strat, and then there will be the Jazzmaster then.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that the fact that these are now in terms of RRP, 700 euros cheaper than they were, definitely makes the guitars more attractive to a whole new kind of budget point and group of people who would, not want to pay 1,700, but might consider this for around 1,000. And you might see offers in stores selling these for 999. Who knows? At some point, once you get under that magic 1,000 price point, they could be flying out the shops. But again, I still don't know anybody who owns one of these who wasn't a YouTuber who was given one. Is anybody watching this who owns an Acoustasonic? Please let us know, because we'd love to know your experiences. Or at least
definitely.
I would. You've had one, Vlad, of course.
Yes, but I think I'm a YouTuber of some sort, so it doesn't count.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Interesting thing is that I almost see this as an improvement, because the Mexican-made one runs on a 9-volt battery, whereas the American-made one had a rechargeable battery, which was like one of my only down points on it. Because if during a live set, like if you forget to recharge your rechargeable battery, which I think might have been swappable, but I don't know where you can get like a spare battery or anything like that. If you run out of battery during the show or just before the show starts, I'm not sure how you would deal with that. Maybe there was some solution I'm forgetting right now. But here you can have a bunch of 9-volt batteries with you, and swap a new one, you're good to go. So that might also actually be an improvement in some situations over the US-made one. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
And also, like, I felt like the Jazzmaster version had 10 different sounds. So like a 5-way pickup switch, and then there's the blend knob where you can blend between the two. I think these have 6. And honestly, based on the ones they had with the Tele, they picked exactly the ones that I would use anyway. So I think it just made so sense. Yeah, position 1 is the clean and fat Telecaster. And our friend Irik actually has a video out where he's putting those sounds through like a big amp rig, which was really interesting. He got some cool, unique sounds. That way, position 2 is lo-fi clean and crunch. And then there's a small body and red note acoustic. So you're getting the acoustic sounds, but some clean and crunch sounds as well. And yeah, I think it's cool. I would also like to know who are the people buying this. And obviously these are selling well. Otherwise they wouldn't be releasing new models all the time. That would be just bad business, and I don't think Fender is doing bad business. So,
they must be selling. They must be doing well. Otherwise, as you say, there would be no point in doing another version, another model, a slightly different version. So it's fascinating. Perhaps this is a model which is selling more in North America than Europe, and we're less kind of in tune to what's happening there. I'm sure this is a decent guitar for worship players, right?
It's kind of perfect for that, actually, especially the Jazzmaster one. I played one set where I had just the guitar, nothing else, and then for some song I could go, because that one had a bridge humbucker and there was like a fairly drivey setting on it. I could just flip that one, do the lead thing, and then for the verse quickly switch to a completely acoustic guitar sound and play that. It was kind of cool. So, yeah, it's perfect for that kind of stuff. And as we know,
do you know when,
like in US, the sales
do you know when
in US
these are going to be available?
Did I just see that they were available right away? Available immediately. There you go.
There you go.
So which color would you choose?
It's time for you to make a trip to that local dealer, and you never know, they might have one of these. You'll get the pink PRS in. If you're very lucky, they'll have the Epiphone Billy Joe Armstrong Les Paul Junior as well. You can try them all.
That's true.
And report back to us.
Yeah, there at least used to be a Gibson deal as well, so who knows, maybe they have those as well. Nice. A lot of cool stuff.
That's 3 very different but quite interesting instruments so far this week.
Yeah, definitely. And there you go. Those were some of our favorite guitar news of 2021. As always, if you enjoy what we do, a great way to support us is to get something from the merch store. Use the affiliate links. There's a super thanks, something like that feature on YouTube as well. You can do that as well if you so desire. Thank you so much for watching and have a great holiday season. We shall see you in 2022.